Okay, everybody, let's dive right into it. First of all, thank you for your questions on my Instagram and for inquiring and asking what was alive for you. And I'm really excited after an incredible week of a lot of experiences, broken phone displays, a new client, a new man that I'm working with that I'm really excited about, and some organizations around a trip down south. I decided to sit down and answer your questions. And the first question that you guys asked me was, life in Bali is so different. How does it feel to be back in the Western world? Hmm. And the way it feels for me right now, I think the first thing that I want to share is that it's all meant to be this way. I somehow knew that I need to come back. I somehow knew that I need to be here. And from a just an internal perspective, I feel incredibly grounded. Grounded presence, still calm. For sure, there are some sensations around. How does the next chapter look like? Where are you going next? What is the plan? Where are we heading? And in the beginning, it didn't overwhelm me, but I could definitely feel that it made me restless. But it was just a very short period of time until I just sat with myself and also just allowed myself to grieve this old chapter that I have been closing in Bali. Those 6 years of deep, hard inner work. Because it was not just all sunshine and rainbows. Some of you might think that because it's Bali, but Bali can be quite intense, which is the next point that I wanted to mention from my own personal experience when I arrived back here in Germany. Bali is very chaotic. It has a lot of range. A lot of things are happening simultaneously, and it's very feminine, the land. And when I arrived here, I remember sitting at the back of my grandpa's car, who picked me up from the airport. And I was sitting there, and it was a Saturday evening, and it just felt so grounded and quiet and calm. And I remember not really being able to grasp what it is that I'm sensing, but I could just feel my nervous system responding to the energy of the land. Just German land, which is very calm, very grounded, very still. It's very structured compared to the intensity of Bali and the chaos, and everything is just growing all over the place. And I remember sitting in the car, and I couldn't really grasp what it was in the beginning. And then it didn't take me long, but I was like, wow, this feels incredibly good for my nervous system to just be here right now, you know? And that's how it has been feeling since then. To be honest, the last thing that I want to share with that question is that I have been positively surprised being back here in Germany. I've heard a lot of things from friends, family members, oh yeah, you will see when you come back. My experience has been incredible so far. And I think the most beautiful, but at the same time powerful recognition that I had so far, especially living with my family right now, right? Like staying in the same house that I have been raised in with my mom, with my stepdad, with my little sister, and sometimes even my middle sister is visiting us. And also spending time with my father, my grandpa, and the other side of the family. How much work I've done. And I'm not saying this to be cocky or to say, look at me. I'm just able to sense in my relationship with all of them how regulated, grounded, and present I am. Which doesn't mean that I'm not getting triggered, but you know, Ramdas always said, you really get to know where you are when you go back with your family. And just being here right now, the way I'm able to move and navigate through disputes, through confrontations, through triggers, really showed me what I've been doing over the last 6 to 10 years, being away and just really investing time into myself. And at the same time, grieving my dog who has passed away in Bali. At the same time, leaning into the unknown, not knowing what the next chapter will bring. And at the same time, just sitting with, you know, emotions and feelings that are rising to the surface that are related to this land. And I want to give you a little bit of context to that because that is something that I've just discovered a couple of weeks ago. Most of my healing journey I've been doing in English. But being back here in Germany, speaking German, I was able to recognize that now it's not about doing the same amount of work that I've done in English in German, but it's about translating certain things back into my roots and where I'm coming from. And it's a beautiful way to just practice embodiment, you know, not just with my English speaking identity and personality, but also my German speaking identity and personality. And I can sense a difference. And it just calls me forth to sharpen my embodiment and to sharpen my presence and to expand my capacity to hold all parts of me and to hold all of me in a way where I can just be fully there. So that was the first question that you asked me. Thank you again for asking. The second question that I received was, what embodiment practice is your favorite and why? One of the reasons I've been hesitating to record this video was because I really wanted to sit with myself and inquire, what is my favorite embodiment practice? And I went through different phases, through different practices to really give you an honest answer. And the first answer, and there are layers to it. The first answer is that I don't have a favorite embodiment practice. And I will give you some more context to it. For me, my favorite embodiment practice is the one that I can deeply sense is needed in the moment. So I will say this again. My favorite embodiment practice is the one that I can sense is deeply required in the moment. And what do I mean by that? It's being so present and attuned to the moment and to my internal environment and to the experience that might bring up something inside of me that I want to check out. I don't want to get into the body, I want to get out of it. I want to move into my head, just overthinking things and trying to escape from whatever I'm experiencing internally. Because embodiment means being in the body, right? So, what practice am I doing to get back into my body? And that is so unique to each moment. Sometimes it's a breath, taking a few deep breaths. Sometimes it's a Qigong practice. Sometimes it's screaming. Sometimes it's stamping on the ground. Sometimes it's just sitting in silence. Sometimes it's just enjoying a cup of tea and just tasting it. And I know I gave you a big range here. But the second layer that I would love to share with you that sticked out for me the most, that I really felt throughout this week, sitting with this question and really being present with, what is the first thing that I do when I can feel myself checking out, moving away, getting into my head, trying to, distract myself, run away, escape, however you want to call it. It's slowing down. It's not as fancy, as complicated as whatever practice you might need to do. It's slowing down. The first thing, and this ties into what I shared with you before, being attuned to the moment, to what it is that you need in that moment. You need to first slow down so that you can be present with what is alive, so that you can tune into what would serve me in this moment right now to get back into my body. And it could be touch, like I said, breath, whatever it might be, but slow down. We're living in a society that is rushing from one moment to the other, thinking and projecting their fulfillment, happiness, love, everything into the future, into the next moment. No, no, oh, it wasn't that one, maybe the next. So by slowing down, you actually meet yourself in the present moment. You meet yourself exactly where you are. And that can be as easy as not doing three things at the same time. Maybe just having breakfast is all you do. And slowing down, feeling the different textures, the tastes, the flavors, whatever might be there. That's why I love tea. There's a sense of stillness that comes with it, an attunement, the way I pour the water, the way the flavor of the tea changes with every steep. It requires me to be present and to be attuned to it. And that attunement, that presence, then I can bring to myself. So the second layer is slowing down. And then I would love to share an exercise that I love that is coming from Qigong, which is talking about a concept. If I don't mix it up right now, it's called song. It's called sinking. And I've been introduced into it in a deeper way. I think it was over a year ago when I started to practice Tai Chi. And it's a practice of relaxing the body, but not like relaxing externally, also like an internal relaxation where you just sit or you stand and you just scan through the body from the crown of your head all the way down to the soles of your feet. And you just notice and you sense into any tension that you might hold in your body. And then you just stay with it. You're present with it. And you relax into it until you can feel this tension slowly opening up. And what naturally happens is that the energy starts sinking down and there's a sense of groundedness. For me, the way I would explain it, it pulls me down rather than up in my head. So when I can feel myself moving upwards, right? Being a little bit all over the place, listening to a lot of music, watching a lot of stuff, taking in a lot of informations that kind of like, you know, brings a wild range of sensations and stimulations. The moment I notice that, I always come back to that practice and I do it while I walk. And this is not preferred. I always love to sit and really take the time to just sit with myself. But the beautiful thing is you can do it everywhere. For sure, if you sit in the car, please keep your eyes open and on the street. But even in the car, you can just sit and just notice while you keep your attention there where you hold any tension. You can do it in the office. Where am I holding tension in my body? That's a huge piece that I always bring to the man that I'm working with. In the men's circle, my one-on-one work, my group container, my retreat. To cultivate an internal presence and felt sense awareness that allows you to just notice any tension in your body, because that tension quite often leads to stress. That stress then leads to an overthinking mind that wants to find a solution to not feel stressed and to get rid of the tension. But quite often we then project that kind of like solution outside of us. Netflix, porn, being around people all the time, whatever it might be. But for me, the greatest gift that I was able to give to myself was this internal awareness, that felt sense awareness that allowed me to just relax and let myself sink deeper rather than flying higher. And the reason why I love this practice or all those practices, because it builds a deeper relationship with yourself. All of the embodiment practices, it just brings you back home, because that's all it is. Embodiment is coming back home to yourself, just being there with whatever might arise, whatever you might feel, whatever you might think, whatever you might perceive and sense. And then the last question that I received was around the elements. What element is your favorite to practice, I believe? Why and when? I don't have a favorite element that I'm practicing, to be truly honest. I think, again, it ties into my attunement where I'm at, right? If I'm lacking clarity, I'm leaning into the element of wood for me to really come down to the seed that I want to plant, really tuning into what is currently there that I'm overlooking, that I need to ground myself back in, that wants to be birthed into existence. What is this next chapter? What is the headline of the next chapter? What is the seed that I'm planting? And then if I can feel some self-sabotaging habits, I like the practice of fire, of passion, of burning through those limitations. Then earth, when I'm very clear on, the values that I stand for. That might have changed. The the seed that I planted, the commitment that I made to myself to then ground that in, push my roots even deeper. Metal, beautiful way to just sharpen your path, to become more clear and just cut off all the bullshit, all the things that are still holding you back from really going out there and birthing that part into existence, into embodiment, right? Just revealing it even deeper. And then water to just surrender to the process and just integrating whatever there's there. Just allowing myself to lean back and just let myself be carried away by this intelligence that is present inside of me that guides me along the way. So each element for me represents what I just mentioned to you, and is also why I love to work with the elements, why I bring it into my man circle, why I bring it into my mentorships, my group container, my one-on-one sessions, because it gives a beautiful natural cycle, a framework that I can work with. And it just has its natural flow that I didn't create, but it just brings forth and serves as a beautiful just path that supports me when I'm guiding others. So I don't have a favorite when, why. I'm still learning about that. I'm also truly honest with you. I'm currently doing my Qigong teacher training, and I'm currently studying and learning more about the elements, the meridians, the energy pathways, and all kinds of things. I feel deeply drawn towards it, and yet I have to humbly say, I'm a student. I'm still learning so much, and I'm just using and implementing what I've been practicing for a little while and what helped me. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope that there were some nuggets, some wisdom that you were able to receive from this Q&A. And I will do this on a more regular basis, and I just wanted to say, you can ask me questions about me. You can also ask me questions about challenges that you're moving through, things that are really, you know kind of like on your mind, maybe you stand in your own way. You can ask me questions about, how to move through certain things in your life, how to sit with your own feelings, like whatever it is that is part of your own inner work, and you might feel stuck somewhere. Bring that. I'm super open for that. I mean, it's, free guidance. And I really want to be in service to you in the best possible way I can. But to be able to do that, I also trust that you bring something that I can relate to and then reflect something back. And I know it takes courage. It takes courage to put yourself out there and be like, especially for us men, to be like, hey man, I'm struggling with this. I haven't yet figured that out. Let me tell you, brother, no one has it all figured out. And yet, I believe that is the most common thing that holds us back from actually outgrowing ourselves. Because we believe that to be a man, we have it all figured out. I don't believe that. But it's how you deal with you not having it figured out that makes you a man. It's the way how you do things and not what you do. That leaves an imprint. That leaves a weight. That leaves something behind. That leaves, that's why I love the handprint. For us men, it just leaves something. And that's the way I live. I want to leave something. It might not be perfect. I might not have it all figured out, all planned out. It's all perfectly whatever. But I know that whatever I leave behind, because I know how I'm doing things and from where I'm coming with presence, groundedness, stillness, attunement, sharpness, softness, compassion, love. I know that when I do a step, when I place my hand somewhere, that it leaves something behind. And I think that is so important to recognize for us men, because that allows us to become incredibly aware of our responsibility in this society, in this world. To not just say, oh yeah, who am I? And just make it all about us, but to actually recognize that you leave something behind on every person that you meet, in every moment. And to hold yourself accountable to that, not to be perfect, but to live from depth. And at the same time, allow yourself to feel your range is what I believe creates safety in this world. Because the moment you live from that, you're not scared to leave your handprint, and I'm just using this as an example, to leave it behind, knowing that you have your strength and your weaknesses, knowing that you will fuck up, knowing that you don't have it all figured out, but you show up anyway, and you show up in the best possible way you can towards what is required in that moment, because you're present, you're grounded, and you're able to feel at the same time. You're the riverbank, strong, solid, wide, able to hold life, right? And at the same time, you deeply feel the currents underneath the surface of the water moving you and then directing and guiding you along your way. And that's when, and I don't know why I'm tuning into this topic, that's when I believe, at least that is my experience. I do not just believe, I know for myself. That's when my purpose revealed itself to me. Because life recognized that I'm ready to hold that and everything that is required from me. So it handed it out and it just came to me. I attracted it rather than chasing it. Life is not about changing. Life is not about chasing. Life is about being here in the moment so you can lead yourself, the people that you love, your community, and life's intelligence in a way that is according with the deepest truth. So I leave it here. I leave it here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for receiving my words. And if there's anything that comes up for you, drop it in the comments down below. If you don't follow me here yet, if you haven't subscribed yet and this resonates, leave a subscription. It always supports me and makes it easier for other people to see. And yeah, I wish you guys an incredible weekend. Enjoy your time, be present, be still, come to yourself. And the last thing that I want to share, and remind yourself that it's okay to be human.